Hello. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you cutting tools that I can gather and make out in the bush, as well as cordage. So what I've done here in these series, I actually made a playlist that you can check out. I came out, I made a bow drill set just off the land, using rocks to split my wood and so on. I made this shelter as cover, just off the land as well. The cordage I used was spruce root. And now I just made a container the other day as well, and showed how you can do that. So I am basically showing that you can go out into the bush and recreate the 5 C's of survivability out here if need be. I believe in the 5 C's because myself, with my skill level, I can go out in the bush and last, a few days out in the bush with just the 5 C's. Now, I also believe that primitive skills makes you better equipped for self-reliance and survival in the bush. And that's why I wanted to show these videos to you. If you didn't have those 5 C's, how you'd get by. Now in this here, I've got some rocks that I've collected. I've got a piece of flint in here because I want to show you. But all these other rocks are all from my area. And I want to just show you some of the uses that you can use the rocks for. In my former videos, as you've seen, I've cut bark with them. I've, split wood, ground wood, and so on and so forth. There's many uses. But in here, I've got some quartz, slate. There's a piece of flint. Flint is not native here. This here I actually found on a beach in my area that was dropped here a few hundred years ago by European ship, transport. They'd come over here, pick up cargo, dump the flint, they used it as ballast, and get the cargo, go back across. So it was a dump yard basically for flint. So got some flint there. This here is just a coarse stone that I use for sanding. And I believe this is granite. It's just a hammer stone that I use. And some different types of chert. And a little piece of flint. But with these here, I can do so much with. I'm going to bring them up a little closer and show them to you. Now you can see, this one here has a sharp edge. This is the one I was using yesterday to cut that stick in half. And this one, the sharp edge here, sharp edge here, this was actually chipped off of here somewhat. There we go, right like this. I broke that off and was able to give myself a nice little flake that I could cut that birch bark with. Here's one here that I've got a pretty good edge here. I could put a handle on that, use that as a small hatchet if I need to. I can grab a hold of it like this, use it as a scraper. This one, it's like a chisel. So I could use that for splitting if I want, like a wedge. Or I could half that, or even embed it. Use that as a somewhat a cutting tool that way. Or I can just grab this like this and slice down. This is noviculite. This is actually not native. I just wanted to show you it's so fine and sharp. You could use that for skinning pretty easily. Different quartz. Use that for many things as well. Knock off a piece, sharpen it up. Now this here is a grit or a heavy grit. If I take this one, this is a piece of slate, and slate grinds up pretty good. As you can see, it's starting already. I can make a pretty good sharp blade on this, and make that into like a rocking ulu type knife for cutting vegetables and such. Natives have used slate for many types of knives in the past. This one here is a little thicker. I look for any breaks. There's no breaks in it, because the problem with slate is they'll break off into sheets. So you got to make sure you got a solid one. I could make a axe or a hatchet type out of that. Actually have in the past, and I've chopped down trees with a slate axe. And here's a piece of slate. That's that European, piece of flint. That's that European flint. I'm going to show you how to get a couple tools out of that. Stone all does not have the same quality for making into tools. You have coarse grains, fine grains. This is like a glass, it's so fine. And this works best for making cutting tools. Flint, quartz is another really tight grained type of rock. But as you've seen, I can make, out of different rocks, I can make instruments, cutting tools. So that's another C of the 5 C's. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you, take this piece right here, I'm going to show you how I can make this into basically, I could make this into like a hand axe. If you look here, it's nice flat here, comes out. If I cut that down, I can hang on to it just like that, hammer in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit right on this angle, and that's going to drive a flake off of here. Just like this. Right there. And you can see the how sharp that made that quick. Now if I pick up that flake, if I knew where it went. Well, I don't see where it went. So I'm going to take another one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit right on this side. Like that. So then that does this to it. You see where that broke off? That broke off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit right here again. So I've got this here going on. Now I'm going to hit one more on this side. There we go. Now you can see how that went. It goes up this way and down. Now you just fine tune that. And but this here, this is really sharp right here, right along here. So this here is a little big. You'd want something a little bit grinded a little bit, but you'd want something a little bit finer. Yeah, see, I've somewhat straightened that out now. But just the way that is, that will gouge into a piece of wood. But a lot of times, if you want a big flake, they used to use just flakes. I'm going to hit right here. There we go. You can see how thin that is. And that's a nice sharp edge right there that I can use. That went all the way through. There's another sharp edge that I could skin with. That's a very sharp edge right there. You could skin with that, but you've seen what that did to this. So, knowing basic knapping, can really help. Out here if you don't have a cutting tool. That's why I started learning how to make basic tools. I'm no professional knapper, but I can make tools out there that can get the job done. That was my whole goal. Now what I'm going to do is, I think I've just covered the cutting tools. I've showed how some work if you follow those other videos, but I'm going to show you some cordage options. Now for cordage, my go-to out here in these bush is spruce roots. As you've seen in my shelter build, I use spruce roots to fashion the tripod, and it's holding fine. Just broke this off, but I know you can see these big roots coming out. I know there's going to be fine roots coming off of these big ones. So all you have to do is dig into here. There you go. Oh, that's only a small one. Getting some bigger ones now. That would work great. But you just have to keep digging them. Sometimes these can get pretty long. There's always various sizes. So right here, you've got this big one here. Now normally you'd dig that out so it wouldn't break, but you can see, like, it's pretty tough stuff. I mean, it's not paracord, but I can't break that. It's a nice little knot. I'm going to show you this other one that taken out. This here would make some nice for fine little ties. Like, it'll go right into a knot. This stuff here is great for making baskets. It's good for, you know, constructing a shelter. This one you can see made a nice little knot itself. But this is pretty tough, and you do hit weak spots in it, of course. But that's one, you know, type of cordage that usually that's what I go to. This type of cordage. It's easy, dig it up, it's done. You can also make cordage out of stinging nettle, out of you know, thistle, and there's many natural cordage that, you know, plants that you can take and put a reverse wrap on and make very strong cordage out of. So there is all kinds of cordage if you know what to look for in the bush. So right now I have shown the 5 C's and collected only from the forest, and how you would collect it and such, and also make it out here with no modern tools. You can see that you can make a tight little knot with that, and it's strong. It's pretty good cordage. Anyhow, I'm going to put this into a playlist so you can watch the whole series of the 5 C's made solely from the bush. But remember, this stuff here, it takes a lot more time, and it takes a lot more skill to make than if you just carry the 5 C's in a kit with you. I usually carry the 5 C's with me so I don't have to do this, but it's good to know that I can if I had to. Enjoy the series, and thanks a lot.